Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Huggins. I've made the first part of what are going to be several videos for you that focus on some of the word problems we've been working on in class that have to do with finding the mean or the average or using the mean or average to find the solution to a problem. I'm going to be doing this in several parts so that you can find the type of word problem you need to practice, and then you'll see some examples and have a chance to try them on your own and then see how we are teaching you to solve them in class. So I hope you find this helpful. Feel free to pause the video at any point and work on the problems before I try to explain them to you. Okay everyone, so pause this if you want to try this on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going and explain how we find the answer to this problem. This is probably one of the most basic average or mean problems that you're going to see. So let's read through this. The mean weight of 5 pumpkins is about 15 pounds. What is the total weight of all the pumpkins? And I want to know the total, so I'm going to be creating a larger number than I started with, but I want to go back and look at what this word means, what the mean weight, forgive my writing on this, guys. I am not good at this with the writing on the screen. The mean weight of 5 pumpkins is 15 pounds. That does not mean the total. Mean, if you'll remember, means average. That's the average. That means each pumpkin weighs about 15 pounds. Okay, so that means if I have, and here's my bar model, you can visualize this. If I have 5 pumpkins and I want to know what the total weight of all the pumpkins is, I'm going to plug in 15 into each one of these little boxes. And that doesn't mean that every single one of our pumpkins weighs exactly 15 pounds. One might weigh 12, one might weigh 18. There are 5 different pumpkins that when we add and then divide them all out together are going to weigh somewhere around 15 pounds each. So I can see by the way I've set this up, I've got 5 parts and I need to find a total. So this is a basic multiplication problem. So I'm going to come over to the side and do my multiplication, and I'm going to say 15 times 5, and hopefully you know that is 75. 15 times 4 is 60. 15 times 4, think about a clock. 4 groups of 15 on a clock makes 60 minutes, so one more group would be 75. But our total weight now, our total weight of all the pumpkins would be 75 pounds. I know that's a little messy, but hopefully you understand that. I'm going to do another one exactly like this on the next slide to give you one more chance to practice. Okay, so here's another one. Pause it and try to solve it, and when you're done, you can come back and join me. Okay, let's look at this problem. The basketball team scored an average, I used a different word this time instead of mean, I used the word average, of 88 points in 4 games. What is the total amount of points the team scored in the 4 games? Okay, it's the same that we had last time. What this means is that average doesn't mean that's the total. Average means once we've spread all the points evenly over everything, that each is 88 points. Each game is 88 points. So I'm going to do myself again another multiplication bar model, and this time I'm going to have 4 sections because these 4 sections are representing the 4 games. And each of the 4 sections we're going to have 88 points. Now remember, that doesn't mean that that's all they scored every single game. What that means is that if they average them all out and split them equally among the games, they would have scored 88 points. They may have scored 80 one time, 95 another time, but they wanted to know on average. And by finding the average, now we can find the total. So this problem is going to be 88 times 4. You come over and solve that, carry the 3. 32 plus 3 is 35. So our total is 352 points over 4 games. And of course, I'd like you to write that in a full sentence. I'm not going to waste time doing that here, but you would want to say the total amount of points scored was 352, or the team scored a total of 352 points in the 4 games. Okay, so here's another kind that's actually a 2-part problem that involves comparison and averages. Okay, Ella has 3 times as many stickers as Madison. On average, the two girls have 160 stickers. How many stickers does Ella have? Okay, so the first thing that I really want to do when I'm looking at this is I want to draw a comparison model. And our basic comparison model for this is going to be that Ella has 3 times as many as Madison. So whatever Madison has, Ella has 3 times as many. Okay, now that's what I'm going to eventually end up getting to, is this portion over here. But what I've got to now deal with is this little part. On average, the two girls have 160 stickers. Okay, so I need to come over here and figure out the total number of stickers, because in order to fill out all of this in this area, I have got to know this total number of stickers so I can share it between Ella and between Madison in the right way. So what I know, back to this little diagram, is that I have two girls. I have Ella and I have Madison. And I know on average, which means average means each girl has about 160 stickers, which not really. If they were going to share them nicely with each other, Ella would share some of hers with Madison, and then they would have 160 stickers each, which I'm sure they would both do. So I know that the total number of stickers they have, 160 times 2, and that's a little mental math there, is 320. That means in all, over here, the girls together have 320 after they had combined everything. But we're not done. That 320 belongs to this part, to this part, to this part, and to this part. We need to share that. So we're going to come and take 320 and we're going to divide by 4, which gives us 80, which means Madison had 80 and Ella had 3 times Madison, or 3 times 80. So Ella ends up having 3 times 80, which is 240 stickers. So you can see, if you look at that, if Ella, I want you to really think about that. If Ella had 3 times as many, and Ella's was 240, and then Madison's was 80, and then they brought them all together to get 320 and shared them equally between them to be sweet and fair, they would have each ended up with 160 stickers. Okay, so that's how we got to that problem. I'm going to give you another one just like it on the next slide. Okay, here's another problem exactly like the last one. You can pause and work through this and then join me when you're ready. On average, a dog and a puppy eat 20 pounds of dog food in a month. The dog eats 4 times as much as the puppy. How much does the dog eat? And this is another one where I can see this 4 times as much as. Those are very classic comparison words. I want to come over here and I want to think about drawing a comparison model. I have the dog and I have the puppy. Whatever the puppy eats, the dog eats 4 times as much. Okay, I know that on average, remember average meaning the dog and the puppy eat 20 pounds in a month. Now, I bet you can imagine the dog and the puppy are not going to eat the same amount, but maybe the owner needs to know how much food they need to buy, so they're just trying to find the average, which means on average, each, the dog and the puppy, eat 20 pounds of dog food apiece. So we need to find the total. So our total is going to be 40 pounds of dog food. Now that we know the total, this 40 pounds of dog food, we can see that the dog share is all 4 of these boxes, and the puppy's is 1 little share. So we have 40 that we have to take and divide out among 5 boxes. Here's a basic fact. That is 8 pounds each. Now, we're not in each box, mind you. Make sure you're paying attention to that. Now, that's not the answer to our question. If you look right here, it says, how much does the dog eat? The answer isn't 8. We're not done. Here is the dog. This is what we need to know. 8 in 4 groups, 4 boxes of 8. So, again, 8 times 4, basic multiplication, is 32 pounds. So the dog eats 32 pounds. The puppy eats 8.